What are we doing today, Austin?
We're doing a disco box install on the Twins 300. Yeah, disco, right? Cool, so before we get started throwing any parts on, just kind of like a disclaimer for you guys. This car already has a dual intake setup. We're gonna set it up for dual intake, obviously, that's what's on the car. So the nose panel's already been removed and we already have the dual intake on. If you need to see how that's done, you can check out the listing for the dual intake kit. And we're gonna start this from this point. So first step, disconnect negative battery terminal, which we definitely will do. We're dealing with electronics. You definitely want to disconnect it just to make sure you don't short anything out. And then from there, you actually have to open up your disco box. So let's grab a 10 mil, get that battery disconnected, and then we'll go from there. Come on. There we go. Your disco box inside has a little dial that allows you to switch modes, whether you're using a single intake or a dual intake, and you have to decide which one you want to do. So I believe these come defaulted to the single intake. So in this case, we do have to switch the position of the switch inside of it for the dual intake mode. So just a Phillips head screwdriver, and you're going to remove these 6 screws. All right, so once you get your last screw out of the box, pop this guy open. There we go. And if you look right here, there's a dial that goes 0 through 9. You're gonna leave it on 0 if you have a single MAF tune. You can change it to 1 if you have a dual MAF tune. If you have a tune from us and you're unsure of which one it is, you can always give us a call. We'll go through your order history and let you know. But for this example, we're gonna leave it on 0. All right, so now that we got the disco box configured, we can mount it to the bracket. So back of the bracket, connector pointing down, will go just like this. And then you just use these little Phillips screws. Start them by hand, and then we'll tighten them in with a screwdriver. Dave, what's the torque spec on a Phillips head?
7.
Inch, foot,
Yes.
kilometers.
Yes.
7 kilometers.
What is?
Got it.
Wait. What is a kilometer?
All right, so now we're gonna come over towards our fuel filter and the master cylinder. And what you're gonna do is there's a 10 mil right here underneath the strut. If you don't have a strut, just look for this spot in the corner of the strut tower. This bolt is gonna be removed. And then we're gonna do one more over here that you're just gonna loosen. You're not gonna remove it because this has a little slot. So we'll just back it out a little bit, slide it up under, tighten it back down, and we'll be good to go. All right, so there's 3 10 mils in a row here. The one with the silver bracket, kind of that raw aluminum, you're going to loosen it up because the bracket for the disco box is going to slide underneath that bracket, not just the bolt head, but underneath the whole bracket. So your disco box, you're going to pull this bracket up and slide it underneath. I don't think I loosened it up enough. There we go. Just like that. So new bracket goes underneath old bracket, and then we'll leave it loose, and right where my finger's at, and take the 10 mil we removed, start threading it, and then we'll tighten them both up at the same time. And there's 2. You can see the disco box kind of lays flat, you know, with the cowl, with the top of the master cylinder, and the harness will come in and plug in right there. Speaking of harness, let's go ahead and jump over to the front. All right, so on to the harness. So if we lay it out like this, we'll kind of go through This one is going to be, let me drop that so you don't get confused. This one is going to be MAF on the passenger side. This is MAF on the driver's side. This is where your original MAF connector will go in, and then that goes to the disco box. So we got the nose panel off, our dual intake is on. Here is our connector for the original MAF. Obviously we got 2 new ones in here. And routing that we recommend is going to be taking the connector, which is the smallest of the 4, to the disco box and going up in this upper right-hand corner. You can absolutely try to go the other way, but then you have 3 connectors to try and shove through a very tight space. So we recommend going this way. And as a extra pro tip, if you have a upgraded radiator like this does, it has a HAL, I'm gonna try and see how it goes just as is, but you may want to remove one of your radiator brackets just to be able to push this a little bit closer to the engine, just to give you a little bit more wiggle room. I'm feeling ambitious. Let's see if we can do it without doing that. So flashlight will definitely help, and the factory harness, I don't know if you can see that, Dave. It's those 2 down there. It kind of goes under the headlight bucket, and you can see it kind of end up hiding back there. We're gonna try and follow that path, and we'll go under these tubes, inlet for the turbo, inlet for the manifold. We'll go underneath, end up routing right here around the fuse box, and then end up coming right around the strut tower underneath these lines and then to there. So let's see. Then obviously, if you want the easiest routing of this, you may want to remove the headlight. I don't know if that really makes it easier, because then you have to remove a headlight. It certainly make running the wire easier, but then you're creating more work by removing the headlight. Very quickly, I think we are going to remove this Allen for the radiator bracket. You again. What's up, bud? How are you? Yeah, I don't work on Z32s a lot, and when I do, my blood pressure goes up. If only there was somebody here who had a DE I could work on a regular basis.
Oh, man.
All right, so I tried and I failed. So we are going to remove this bracket. If you're an OE radiator, you may be able to get through there without doing this, but if you have an upgrade like a HAL or bigger radiator, you may want to loosen that guy. That way we can just, that little extra bit is going to make all the difference. So where's the factory harness? All right, so it's kind of hard to show on camera. It is very tight. If you look from the passenger side towards the driver's side, right in the corner of the headlight, you can see a gap where it routes through. So yeah, we'll tighten this guy back up and route it the rest of the way. We're almost done. Cool. All right, now coming up out of that corner, I'm going to try and run this connector underneath the inlet to the manifold, and then under the inlet to the turbo, and then up and around, and we'll kind of pull it tight from there. Dave?
Yes.
I can't go on top of the hood prop.
Why not?
All right, let's try this again. There we go. There we go. And then we'll go about the fuse box. Underneath all this. And into the disco box. Sweet. All right, so now that it's connected, it's ran, all we gotta do is 3 more plugs and we're done. So the factory MAF has one of these retaining springs. I'm sorry, the factory MAF connector. So that's this guy, wrong way. So we have to plug it in all the way and then retain it. So you just put it on either side. You guys, 300 owners, you already know what that's like. There we go. And press it down and it'll pop into its little retaining clips there and there. Give it a little bit of pressure, make sure it's good. Yep, we're good there. All right. And then driver's side MAF. Tuck this down there. Just plugs in. Just like that. Make sure that weather shielding's on there good. And then MAF number 2. Again, slide that weather shielding on, make sure it's good. And then just push it on. Tuck it down out of the way. Gotta connect the negative terminal back when we're done. And put our little boot back on. And we're good. That's it. All you gotta do now is install your nose panel and you're good to go. That's how easy it is to install a disco box. Little bit of effort on running the wiring harness, but pretty much straightforward, less than an hour. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment on what how-to videos you would like to see us do next.